That day, we had classes upstairs. The long wooden staircase that led to the SS1 block was old and steep. Everyone knew to hold the rail. Her name was Annike. One of the girls in my class, who always laughed at me, called me Bush Girl when I first arrived. I never answered her back. But today, she bumped into me on the stairs and hissed loudly, Shift Jor, your village spirit is smelling. I said nothing, but something inside me flared. I stood still on the stairs and stared at her back as she climbed ahead of me, and I imagined her falling, just imagined it. And then it happened. She screamed, her legs slipped. She tumbled down, hitting each step hard until she landed at the bottom with a loud, wet sound. Everyone screamed. Girls rushed down. The staircase echoed with cries. I just stood there, breathing slowly. My fingers touched the beads under my uniform. That night, they said, Annike broke her spine. She couldn't walk. They said it was an accident. But I knew better. I didn't touch her. I only imagined it. And the beads obeyed. That night I lay in bed shaking. I wanted to remove the beads, but they were tight now, as if they'd become part of my body. When I tried to cut them with my nail cutter, they hissed, a real snake-like hiss, and burned my skin. I started to cry. The beads pulsed against my waist. Then I heard Shola's voice, soft and sharp, from the corner of the room. Good girl, Titi, you're learning. But there was nobody there, only the darkness. The following day I skipped breakfast. I couldn't eat, not because of guilt, but because something about the beads felt tighter, like they were feeding. I washed my face behind the dorm and rushed to the mirror in the hallway beside our bunk room. It was one of those tall rectangular mirrors that hung crooked on the wall with scratches and dusty corners. I wanted to check my eyes. They'd been burning since dawn, but when I stepped in front of the mirror, I saw Shola, not my reflection. Shola. She was standing just like me, head tilted, hands down. She looked older than I remembered. Her eyes were gray, her lips moved slowly, like she was speaking, but I heard nothing. Then her mouth opened wide, and black beads poured out, thousands of them, pouring like water. They didn't fall to the ground, they just disappeared in the air. I screamed and stepped back. Another girl, Morayo, turned and frowned. Titi, are you okay? I looked again. Now it was just my face in the mirror, but my nose was bleeding. That night I pretended to sleep, but I could hear Shola's anklet sounds, the faint jingling, moving around the dorm. No one else reacted, just me. So I sat up quietly and tiptoed to the mirror again. This time I whispered, What do you want? Shola appeared immediately. Only this time she answered. Her lips formed the words, but her voice was inside my head. You asked for what you couldn't afford. You took it. Now you pay. I shook my head, trying to run, but the beads around my waist started tightening, like a rope pulling into my skin. I dropped to the floor, gasping. When I looked up again, Shola was crawling out of the mirror. When I opened my eyes, she was standing over me, not in a dream, not in the mirror. She was really there. I didn't remember falling asleep, but I woke up on the floor by the hallway mirror. My neck hurt. Shola was standing over me, not a ghost, not a mirror illusion. She was there, in the hallway. Her body was dusty, feet bare. Her skin had lost all color, gray like ash. Her face looked half human, half shadow. I wanted to scream, but my throat wouldn't work. All I could do was stare. She knelt slowly beside me. You begged me for it, she whispered. Her breath was cold, not like air, like ice. She placed her hand on the beads, and for a moment I saw something, a classroom, but old, like from decades ago, girls in black and white photos, a different school uniform, a girl wearing the same kind of beads, screaming, her classmates backing away from her. I blinked and came back. Shola was gone. I dragged myself up and stumbled back into the dorm. Nobody had seen anything. The next day, I kept quiet. My legs trembled all through class. My eyes twitched every time I blinked. I knew I was losing it. Then she walked in. Auntie Fola Shade, the new matron. I'd heard she was transferred from another school. She looked different, wore native iro and buba instead of the regular staff wear. Her jail was red with gold patterns, and she had a scar just below her left eye. She walked past me, then paused. "Come see me after lunch," she said. She didn't smile, she didn't blink, she just walked off. Somehow I knew she knew everything. I stood at the matron's door, my heart thudding like a drum in my ears. Auntie Folashade, the new matron who arrived just 2 weeks ago and somehow already knew something about me. I didn't want to knock, but my fingers moved anyway. 3 soft taps. "Come in," her voice called, too calm, too sure. I opened the door. Her office was nothing like the others. No school charts, no attendance lists, just an old wooden table, a carved stool, and a single oil lamp. The curtains were deep red, incense burned softly in the corner, and the scent made my head feel light. She didn't look up from the beads she was threading. Beads, exactly like the ones I was wearing. "I know what you saw," she said. I froze. "I saw her," I whispered. "Last night. She was there. Shola." Auntie Fola Shade looked up. "Shola is not a girl anymore. She crossed over. She belongs to the other side." I wanted to cry. My throat ached from holding it in. "You asked her for the beads, didn't you?" she asked. I nodded. "She warned you?" she asked again. I nodded slower. She sighed and leaned forward. "These beads don't belong in the world of the living. They were once worn by a girl named Mobolaji, 50 years ago. She was the first to vanish." I blinked. "Vanish?" "Disappeared into the mirror," she said, "during assembly, in front of everyone." The lamp flickered. "These beads feed on envy," she continued. "Girls who crave what they don't have, who see beauty and desire it so much, they stop listening to sense." I looked down at my waist. The beads pulsed once, like they heard her. "You must return them," she said. "How?" Auntie Folashade stood and blew out the lamp. "In the place where Shola first bled," she said. Then everything went dark. Auntie Folashade didn't give me instructions, just a location. "The old home economics lab," she said, "behind the storage racks. Look for the wall with the iron stain." Iron stain? I didn't understand until I saw it. That morning I waited until break time and slipped away. The home economics lab had been shut down years ago after a small fire. The door groaned like it hadn't been opened in ages. Dust flew up in clouds. The whole place smelled like burnt oil and wet cloth. Tables were overturned. Sewing machines were covered with cobwebs, and there was a thick silence, the kind that sticks to your ears. I went to the far end, where the metal storage racks stood like skeletons. I pushed one aside and found the wall. It was gray like the rest, except for a dark, rusty patch, oval-shaped, about the size of a school bag. I bent down and stared. It looked like blood, old blood, the kind you see in horror films, brown and dried but angry. Then something strange happened. The beads around my waist tightened. Not like before, this time they squeezed. I gasped. My hand touched the stain, and in a flash the room changed. The wall melted away. Suddenly I was watching a different time. Shola was there, in the same lab, crying. She was banging on the door, screaming for help. Someone was outside, laughing. "You wanted to shine, Abi?" the voice said. "Wear your beads, call your spirits." Then Shola backed up and smashed her head into the wall again and again. Blood sprayed. The vision faded. I fell back, shaking.